Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 3 of the 2018 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, joined by, again, our 4-time women's world champion, Valarie Jenkins. Val, we're back here at Fountain Hills, and you were very well received, very well spoken. No real surprise, but thanks for joining on the commentary again.
Well, we see Paige right there. She looks like she's having fun. Hope these ladies are warmed up for their second go out at Fountain Hills. I'm excited to see it.
It is a beautiful view, and we are here, like we said, for round 3. We've got a round 3 partner on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Let's guess who it's going to be. Who do you think?
Is this random draw?
It is.
Think, think, think. Latitude 64.
Yeah, so we're here. Hole 1, 318 feet. And it's a little bit warmer. We're here on Friday as opposed to the opening day.
Wow, that was an interesting one. It looked like it was going to stay safe, but that ground's probably a little skippy for Paige's shot to stick, but she'll have a pretty easy putt. And Jen, just the same, but hers lands in bounds. That was a beautiful crush by Jen.
Flirting with the OB wall, but she comes in safely, and I think Jessica just says, I'm not messing with that water.
Exactly. That's pretty much my play when I'm out and throwing on the first hole. You got a little bit of jitters, and I don't like to risk it, so I do exactly what Jessica just did. And you'll see Sarah there. She's also playing nice and safe. You got an easy upshot from there, and yeah, you just want to get your 3 and move on. This hole, it can be very, very tough.
Well, and Sarah Hokom being, of course, a predominantly forehand thrower, she has no problems probably taking the par. And wow, there's a great putt by Jen Allen.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great bonus birdie right there for Jen.
And we see that Sarah Hokom's going to be able to walk away with the easy par. And Paige, like you said, she came in, she crashed over the wall just right next to the basket. She gets to bring that in the full 1 meter, and this is a little tap in for
her. Yes, it was.
It's about 9 o'clock or a little bit after that, we should say, on Friday. We had some really cool temperatures opening up here on Wednesday, but now it looks to be a little bit nicer. The winds are calm and down, and Jen Allen takes advantage, carding the birdie on the first hole.
Ooh. I'm going to be excited to see Jen and Paige crushing on this course. They're 2 of the longest throwers by far in the women's, no pun intended, in the women's division. So this will be fun to see them go for these shots. And right there, Paige learned from her mistake in the first round.
Yeah, I think we saw all 3 women find the right side tree during the first round. And this round, we're seeing everyone throw nice, clean drives. Sarah's able to take that outside route, as we saw by Weese, and just a trusty forehand that puts them out in the fairway. And that's exactly where you want to be.
Yep, exactly. When you have a forehand like that, you don't have to worry about dealing with those trees in the middle of the fairway like Jen had to.
She's got to stand still, and she finds herself in bounds. This is a par 4, but we have to talk about this basket is a little bit shorter than what we see on the men's side. And I think it still makes for a really challenging par 4 as we can't quite keep it in play.
Yeah, that was an interesting play by Jessica. Has a very strong forehand, just like Sarah. And you can see as Sarah's is coming back toward land rather than a hyzer that Jessica threw where it skipped toward the water. So I think a forehand shot would have probably been a better play for Jessica on that.
And Paige with a really basic turnover putter shot. That's going to leave her in putting distance. She's looking at a birdie. Jen Allen's going to lay it up and be looking at a par.
Ooh, that wasn't a bad run. You'll see Paige, she tends to get on her knee and go for putts like that when she's shooting downhill. She likes to get level with the basket. So that's an interesting little pro tip from Paige right there. But she also left it a little low, just like Jessica.
She has a tester coming back. And I know she cleans that up. And I know during round number 2, Madison and I almost at the exact same time, I think there was a jinx in there somewhere, we were going to say that when Paige goes to one knee, she almost never misses. It just seems to be a really comfortable position when she's putting. So I was surprised to see her not convert on that. But early in the round, and I'm sure she has plenty of time to get her putter heated up as Hokom takes the birdie and really just played that one perfectly.
Yep, 2 routine forehands, put her right next to the basket. That was a great birdie. And like we mentioned in the previous rounds, this is a shorter basket, so that was nice for the ladies to get a birdie try on that second hole. Ew, speaking of birdie, I don't know about that one. The dog is calling it, and it says it's out of bounds, Sarah Hokom.
Yes, there is a little bit of room between the sidewalk and the putting circle that is still considered out of bounds. So she didn't land on the sidewalk, but she is in fact OB as Jen parks it.
Here she goes. Really? Paige says right there, that's a little wide. Let's see if the skip and roll could bring her a little close. That's definitely within Paige's range right there.
And we see Jessica relying on her backhand quite a bit, and I think we saw a little bit of that earlier in the week. Have you had any conversation with her or talked to her anytime recently? Know why she's so reliant on it?
Well, if she can get them within that range, any of her backhands and make those putts, I think she's doing a good job. I don't know. She's great, both backhand and forehand. I think in the earlier of her career, she was relying on her forehand a lot. I don't know. I think she's equally good on both sides of throwing, so not sure.
And Hokom tries to save the par. And really what I was, just getting at is, I think you said it, she relied so heavily on her forehand early in her career. And now it's great to see that she looks really comfortable with both the forehand and the backhand whenever it calls for it, as Jen taps out, little flow of play, and takes the honors. And
that looked a little quick. Paige's routine is pretty steady, and yeah, it just looked like her pullback and her extension, that was a little fast for Paige's normal routine.
Well, I think you said it perfectly. What had happened was there were some people kind of hanging out, talking, and distracting her. And that's why Jen actually said, well, she makes a great comebacker. Jen said, I'll go ahead and tap out, and maybe the crowd and the gallery can calm down a little bit for you. So I think Paige probably, as soon as she saw an opportunity, thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and putt. And you can see she wasn't able to take the birdie. So
yeah, and no stroke is worth that. You know, you don't need to hurry up. You have your 30 seconds, and then if there's any distractions, you should absolutely wait. And people make fun of me sometimes for waiting too long, but you don't want to cost yourself a stroke there.
And I think you nailed it when you're talking about the distraction. I mean, Paige, you would never expect her to airball from such a distance. So clearly there was a distraction there, and it was still in her head. And Jessica's drive is turning over, and it's going to challenge that OB. And then finally it comes down safely in bounds. Everybody was holding their breath collectively there.
You can hear him say that. But that was a crush. That was a huge throw. That was probably even with the long basket placement. She would just have a nice little easy upshot. But they have a shorter pin on this one, and Paige looks like she adjusted from the first round, but still nobody's that close yet.
And Hokom's yelling for the 4. She comes up short of the OB sidewalk, a big safe sign there from the left side gallery, and the thumbs up. But she's going to leave herself with this, and as she notices right away, that's downhill.
Oh, no. Don't do it.
Oof. Yep, exactly. Talking about those angles from the very second hole. A forehand like that, it's going to go right down and follow the hill. So she got it a little too high up in the air, and it just followed the hill right down. So that's going to be a big putt for Sarah coming back.
And Jen Allen apologizes and said, sorry, boring golf. No, that's smart golf, Jen, not running at a downhill putt for the birdie. Meanwhile, Paige can't connect on her birdie, and now Sarah, after letting that last approach get away from her, and she's going to take another bogey here. That's back-to-back bogeys after carding the birdie on hole number 2.
All right, yep, that's a tough hole. Hopefully she learns from her mistakes. There's a lot more trickier holes coming up, a lot more water that come into play, a lot more of these baskets on a hill. And so, yeah, these players got to start picking up their game, hopefully start waking up a little bit. I know it's still early, but maybe Paige is going to practice.
Yeah, she always making sure she's got her form. She's now missed a putt on hole 2. She missed a putt on 3, and she missed a putt on 4 here. So although she's still sitting even for the round, she doesn't feel like she has her stroke quite dialed in. And this also features a ladies' basket, as they refer to them, or as a women's basket. This one comes in a little bit shorter at 270.
Yeah,
the road, of course, can still come into play.
This is a really tricky hole. You can see they're shooting through the trees. There's a lot of obstacles. There's a light post right there, a couple of posts for the gate that opens up for the parking lot. So there's just a lot going on. You have the pavilion on the left. You got the road on the right. I mean, there's so many distractions. So I like this change up. I think it's a little bit more approachable for the ladies, 270 feet. The other one was a bit more of a distance shot, and you really had to crush it hard, which made it difficult with all these obstacles.
It did, and I think you saw a lot of threes in the other position that's approximately 70 or so feet longer. I think you see a lot of threes there, and this gives a lot more opportunities for some scoring. Paige lining up a birdie, and looks like the practice stroke on the previous hole worked.
Yep, exactly. I think maybe, it's for her physically to feel that putt when she's doing those practice strokes, but it's mentally. She's kind of just getting herself back in the game. Come on, Paige. You know you can reach for it. You know you can make those putts.
And Weese also able to convert. We see back-to-back birdies from her after following up her little miscue on hole number 2. So it seems like she's maybe getting things dialed in.
And speaking of routines,
yes. Yeah. Talk a little bit about her routine.
Yeah, she sticks to it, and I think that's so crucial. She takes her time. She gets herself and her mind right, no matter how long or short the putt is. So that's a huge thing for players when they're practicing. Develop that routine and stick to it. And she does it, in the most casual round to if she's winning the world championship. So that's what wins at the bigs tournaments.
3 birdies, and we'll listen to a word from our sponsor right here on 5. And of course, Discraft, your presenting sponsor here of the Memorial Championships, also a Disc Golf Pro Tour sponsor and supporter in so many ways, as Weese is able to take the forehand way out to the left side, and on the contrary, we see Paige is going with the hyzer on the right side. Talk about landing on that hill and what that means.
Yeah, it's tough. You have to really think about that angle that your disc is coming in on. You don't want to hang it out too far right, because you'll hit the hill and have a chance to roll down the hill and probably go OB. There's nothing to stop you from going OB if that happens. So you do want to play it tight, but also you want to make sure you get it over that tree. So there's a lot of things that come into play. Jessica's shot, that forehand, it is getting bigger year by year. But it's still a pretty tight shot, but strong forehand player, just like Hokom. Those are good options for them to throw.
And Paige has a great putt coming back. She's going to take the birdie. It was interesting to note that Hokom did go with the backhand off the tee. Usually at most you see about 1 backhand off the tee drive from her per round, and I'm not sure if this is the only one, but she did do it here on hole number 6, and Allen takes the birdie.
That was a good putt. You can't really tell from this angle, and Jessica here as well. The putts are going toward that hill. If you're where Paige is, you have a better angle. You're shooting uphill. You're putting uphill. So if you miss, it's not a big deal. But there's a lot of pressure on these putts. Nice.
They
That was a
made it
solid
look
putt.
very easy. Yeah, making it look really easy. And to see what should be 3 birdies here on hole 6 is very impressive. Exactly what you want to do. It's, I believe, the second shortest hole on the course, if not the entire tournament, and plenty of birdies in the last 2 holes.
Oh, I was just about to say Jessica's throwing the shot that I would throw, but I would throw around that tree. I like just to get a par on this one. Even though it's the shortest hole, there's still lots of chances, just like this, to possibly go OB, and Paige's shot landed OB.
Interesting to hear you say that. You're really just playing this one for a par. You throw out to that wide area exactly where Jen Allen probably just threw to, and then you lay it up from there. That's all you're trying to do?
Yeah, I'm not upset with a par on this one. From the tee, you can see the basket, but you can't really see the land, and it's just really tough to judge that distance. And it really is just it's a big putter shot for me. And I'm not sure what Jen threw. It kind of looked like a sharper edge disc. She might be throwing a mid-range.
And Paige doesn't convert. We're seeing the fountain go off at the top of the hour. It's probably 10 o'clock if I had to guess at the time. And great birdie by Hokom. Who would have guessed that this hole, which definitely favors the righty backhand with a nice, gentle, slow fade, favors those players, but Hokom's the one with the birdie.
Right, and just like I was saying, you know, that forehand, on a lot of these shots out here, we'll see that the forehand's going to fade toward the land rather than a hyzer fading toward the water. So she had a good advantage. And, you know, won a birdie for sure. Want to take a par if that's the case, but a bogey on a short hole like this should not be an option. And unfortunately, caught Paige on that one.
Hole number 8. I don't think anyone looks forward to this hole, do they?
It's tricky, especially when the wind starts coming into play, and Discraft banner right there that is not blowing, so it must be pretty calm out there. But that is not a spot you want to land in. You want to be in the open on either side of that tree because you need to get a clean view of your next shot. And that is
Jen,
huge.
It is. That's a great position to be in. Paige would love to duplicate that effort. And an extra 50 feet on this hole, for instance, can be, well, I mean, you're looking for, of course, the actual positioning, but the distance doesn't hurt because that just makes a very daunting approach shot that much more manageable. And Paige says, I didn't crest the hill, but I'm still running at it. What a call and what a skip.
That was very fortunate. From where she is, she has no idea where the basket is. She only has somebody down there telling her it's safe. And Jessica's taking the safer approach right there because you, like I said, cannot see the basket. So a nice little upshot for Jess.
I love the play here by Hokom, going right at the pin, and I don't see any notification. Looks like that's going to be safe.
A lot of
She's
clapping
looking at
now.
board. And it's crazy to see as Jen slips out of bounds, the angle in which Paige's came in somehow skips up and stays in bounds, and then Jen's skips out of bounds. I don't think I would have guessed that.
Oh, yeah, it's just scary. Any upshot on this one, no matter how far you are away, just like Jessica right there. I mean, the backhand, the forehand, it doesn't matter. You're on a peninsula. The basket is basically sitting on top of a little hill. So it's tricky to land your disc right up next to the basket.
And Sarah trying to get the lone, not the lone birdie, sorry. Paige still has the opportunity as Jessica just chips her way down the fairway, makes a really solid putt, and is going to walk away unscathed with the par. Paige for birdie.
Yeah, that hit the left side of the basket high, and those baskets do not catch unless you penetrate in the center or to the right. That Mach X, you got to have a strong putt to make them stick on these ones. That's unfortunate, though. I mean, Paige took a huge risk to throw that up shot, and that would have been incredible to walk away with a 3 on that.
The fact that she went for it the way she did on the approach shot still kind of had my jaw on the floor, and unfortunately not able to walk away with the birdie. And Hokom's got the honors. Like to thank Dynamic Disc for their support as well, Pro Tour sponsor, and specifically a sponsor here of the women's coverage. They said, we'd like to support what's going on with the post-production, and we'd like to thank Dynamic Disc for exactly that as Hokom puts it out onto the peninsula here on 9.
That just hit at the wrong angle right there. If it would have coming in a little flatter, she could have easily skipped up right near the basket.
And Paige takes the hyzer route, which then goes OB. We see the reemergence of the beach towel that we saw during the opening round. So she must want to be sure of her footing, and looks like Jen kind of yanked that one a little high.
This is a tricky hole. I have never played from this tee before. This is a brand new tee for the ladies this year. And I'm not sure what I do. It's only 285 feet, so you need to go for it. But it's just a really, again, on a peninsula, really tricky landing area. But yeah, Sarah showed us how to do it. Just need a forehand to go 285 feet. Exactly.
Hey, there's a save by Weese after going OB. She's going to walk away with a par. You see Hokom inside the circle. She's looking to be about maybe 16 or 18 feet or so.
Well, not as parked as I thought, but it is a line. See, Jessica made it look easy, just a forehand shot and a huge putt. So let's see if Sarah can do it too.
No wind to speak of, which is very rare out there. And nice. Bang, bang. That's a great way to finish out our front 9. Val, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you again for joining us. We look forward to you joining in the back as we're watching the women clean up here on hole 9. They've got a round and a half to play. Paige is sitting with a lead, but you can see she's not fully dialed in, so there's still some room. We'll see if anyone else can chase her down. From Fountain Hills, Arizona, this has been the front 9 of round 3. We look forward to seeing you guys on the back. Paige sitting 8 under overall.